Bienvenida Susan. Hoy en su conferencia Métricas para evaluar el desarrollo empresarial abordamos temas muy interesantes. Cuéntanos por favor qué es exactamente las métricas y para qué sirven.
Welcome, Susan. Your exposition was wonderful. We have some questions that we'd like to know. The first one is, as you mentioned before, what are metrics and what is exactly their utility for entrepreneurs?
Metrics are how we measure different parts of what's working in a business, or more importantly, how entrepreneurs, as they're growing their business, are actually learning to be able to run businesses well. So understanding how an entrepreneur manages a business so that they can know what parts of their businesses are working and not working, what members of their team, how they're doing. But from a standpoint of research, when people run programs or even run schools about entrepreneurship classes, you have to know what's working and not working. When a teacher is building a class, there's grades to assess what the students are learning. With business, part of it is knowing what they're learning, but it's much more important to see what's actually working and not working in the market, in the real world. Because a person can be an A+ student in business and be a terrible business person. So with entrepreneurship, you find a lot of people who are not great students are great business people because they're not scared of trying, and if it doesn't work, they just try other things instead of trying to make it perfect. And that skill set is really important, and metrics help capture that.
Muy bien. Las métricas nos sirven para medir qué tan exitosos podríamos ser en nuestros negocios o no. Por ejemplo, un profesor necesita saber cuánto es lo que ha aprendido su estudiante o si lo está aprendiendo o no. Lo mismo sucede en los negocios. Cuando ya utilizamos programas que están relacionados con las métricas, necesitamos saber qué es lo que está trabajando o no. Hay mucha gente que se siente atemorizada porque no quiere tratar. Si tenemos las métricas claras, nos van a ayudar para que las personas o los emprendedores en sí puedan seguir tratando sobre aquello que no está correcto o sobre aquello que no está trabajando bien, para poder hacer el intento y hacer las correcciones debidas y que lo que estamos haciendo tenga el éxito que perseguimos. Adicionalmente, las métricas nos ayudan a capturar las competencias que estamos desarrollando correctamente, y eso es lo que va a catapultar nuestro negocio.
Perfecto. ¿Qué la motivó a abordar activamente sobre la educación para el emprendimiento y la innovación internacional?
What was your motivation to start talking and working on education for entrepreneurship and international motivation?
I started being an entrepreneur when I was 15.
Wow.
Yes. And it was really hard for a decade, for 10 years as I built my business, to know what I needed to do to be successful. And every entrepreneur in the world thinks that money solves the problems. But in reality, an entrepreneur has to be able to take in information and make decisions really fast. And I didn't have anyone helping me learn how to do that well. So it's about building your gut instincts. So when you see information, you're like, okay, bam. So when I sold my business, I started trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, and I started other companies. But when I realized how much I love education, and I saw all over the world, there's lots of people saying they do entrepreneurship or teach it, but nobody was accountable for the metrics of what worked or didn't work. And I've been very lucky that I have partners now all over the world where I build curriculum and I build data or the metrics to help them know what's working and not working. And so I actually get to work with thousands of people all over the world to help the entrepreneurs on the ground be able to be great entrepreneurs instead of with a wonderful idea without the skill set to follow it. Because entrepreneurship is all about solving a customer problem. So we have to help all of the problem solvers of the world be able to build that into businesses to make money for themselves, to make jobs for their communities, and to be able to solve more customer problems. It's that simple.
Okay. Ella empezó a los 15 años con su emprendimiento. Por 10 años intentó construir su negocio, pero un día decidió venderlo, su negocio. Al principio ella no sabía qué hacer y como la mayoría de los emprendedores creyó que el negocio, que el dinero lo resolvía todo, cualquier problema, ¿no? Como en realidad no tuvo mucha ayuda, decidió vender su negocio. Cuando lo hizo se dio cuenta esta pasión por la educación. Entonces pensó que enseñando a la gente, enseñando a los emprendedores específicamente a utilizar las métricas y cómo podrían hacer estas métricas su negocio exitoso, se decidió a irse por ese camino porque se dio cuenta que había miles y miles de personas a las que ella podría ayudar. Específicamente también le llamó mucho la atención el hecho de poder resolver el problema hacia los clientes. Eso es.
En mi caso, empecé también a temprana edad, a los 16 años, pero nos gustaría saber cuál es la importancia de la tecnología y comunicación mediática al momento de emprender.
Sarita is an entrepreneur too, because she started at 16. And she wants to know what is the importance of the technology and communication when you are starting to run your own business.
Using technology and communication, it really depends on the company. So for many entrepreneurs, when they start a business, they have to find customers or partners. So being extremely clear about what your company does and why helps you find the right customers or partners from the beginning. Many entrepreneurs make the mistake of saying very vague things so lots of people might be able to become their customers. But the more focused you are, it means that you'll find customers who actually want what you offer, and you will do exactly what you want to be doing. You don't want a lot of customers who want you to do things that are not the core of what your business is going to be. And on the team side, as you're building your company, the better your communication is so that your team understands how each of them play a role in success. The founder has to be very motivational. And it's really hard because nothing is going to go right. Zero. Whatever you say, here's what my business is going to be, none of that will happen. But the founder has to be positive and inspirational because the rest of the team can't realize how hard everything is. Otherwise, they'll quit. That's why they're not entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs take on risk and they just keep focused on a long-term goal. The team members need to stay aligned to that goal. Now with technology, that's a little different because what you're communicating, whether it's using a website or social media, you have to stay really targeted. So again, people understand what you do and what you don't do. And many entrepreneurs want to sound like they do everything, and it actually hurts them. Because if you're the expert in everything, you're actually an expert in nothing. So the more clear the founding team is in here's what we do, and you get feedback from customers or potential customers about what their needs are, use their language so that you can clearly say, here's what we are, here's what we're not, and then you're going to get the people who are going to help you execute on it.
Muy bien. Ella sugiere que como emprendedores debemos de enfocarnos en lo que los clientes quieren hacer. Es una comunicación de dos vías, porque nosotros como emprendedores deberíamos hacer exactamente lo que nuestros clientes quieren. para tener éxito. Así resolvemos las necesidades que ellos tengan o los problemas que ellos tengan. Ahora, el emprendedor, el fundador, el que dio inicio a la idea, esa persona tiene que ser siempre positiva e inspiradora, porque de lo contrario no va a poder contagiar a su equipo y a quienes trabajan con él o ella, especialmente cuando se trata de objetivos a largo plazo. Ahora, con respecto a la tecnología, Susan menciona que quien es experto en todo, lo que nosotros en español llamamos coloquialmente todólogos, no es experto en nada.
Wow.
Entonces cada quien debería tener su enfoque, ¿no? Rodearnos de personas que tengan su especialización y que podamos, la tecnología nos sirve de cierta manera para obtener la retroalimentación necesaria de nuestros clientes. Sea que utilicemos una página web, sea que utilicemos social media, es decir, las redes sociales, el principal objetivo que queremos es poder obtener la retroalimentación de nuestros clientes, lo cual se encasilla o se relaciona con la parte primera en la que ella mencionó. Como emprendedores debemos hacer exactamente lo que nuestros clientes quieren.
Para satisfacer esa necesidad que ellos
I'm going
nos
to add
piden.
something to that actually, because that's at the beginning. But as companies get bigger, communication is even more important. We have many companies who we work with that already have $1 million to $10 million in revenue, so they're real companies. And sometimes, again, they become in love with their product or service, they fall in love with it, and instead of being able to listen, they just talk and tell people what it does, instead of continuing to listen to update and do the next version of their product or service, because all that matters is if it solves a problem for a customer. That's all that matters. And so being able to, for the long term, always put communication in the center of a job of a CEO and of the whole team, to be listening and taking in the information and tracking it properly, that's how the companies go from existing to being able to grow a lot. It's all about listening and then being able to communicate to your customer, your partners, etc., exactly why you're offering value to them.
Mire qué interesante y qué bonito es lo que menciona Susan. Lo que habíamos contestado al inicio era solamente cuando tú empiezas, por supuesto. Pero cuando la compañía se hace más grande, necesita estar todavía más enfocada en sus clientes y obviamente la comunicación va a ser mucho más importante para una empresa. Conozco compañías que facturan millones y millones donde el cliente sigue siendo la parte más importante. Menciona también que lo más básico, lo que te da el éxito como emprendedor o como empresario en sí, es la escucha activa a tus clientes. Inclusive si tienes miles y miles de clientes, siempre vas a encontrar un mecanismo, un recurso tecnológico que te permita escucharlos constantemente, permanentemente, para poder saber cuáles son sus necesidades y si tú las has resuelto bien. Entonces, la comunicación vuelve a tener un impacto sorprendente en el éxito de un negocio o de una compañía.
En la pregunta anterior había nombrado la importancia que hay en el equipo de trabajo. ¿Cuáles o qué significan las 3 variables que pueden ayudar a crecer su equipo?
In your presentation, you mentioned about 3 variables that entrepreneurs have to take at least. Could you be specific mentioning which ones are these variables?
I don't remember saying 3 because there's, the baseline. So if I'm running a program and I have a bunch of different companies in it, it depends on how far along they are. Because if they now have revenue, it's margin, and growth rates as basic things, but we track many more than 3, many more, because a company could be tracking revenue but then lose their customers. So it's not just important to be making money, but how long can you have a customer? It's something called customer lifetime value, right? So every year I may get 100 customers who pay me for a year and then they all quit, and then I get 100 more customers. So I may have revenue, but if I'm losing my customers because they don't like the product, then I have a big problem, right? I'm very good at closing sales, but I'm not keeping my customers. So my product looks like it's good, but it's not. Instead, I may have a few customers who are very, very happy, and maybe I only get 10 new customers a year, but my company keeps growing because I keep them happy, right? Another one on margins, I may be selling my product and make very little profit because I'm not finding efficiencies as I grow. If I keep my company running efficiently, every new customer I sell to, I might have more profit in there even if I'm selling it for the same price. So it really depends on many, many factors. But at the end of the day, companies have to make money so that they can hire more people or pay for new technology or do better marketing, etc. You have to make money.
En realidad son más de tres. Sí. Ella mencionó como mínimo tres, pero en realidad son muchas más. Como ya me había mencionado anteriormente, es importante hacer dinero, pero no es lo principal, no es el enfoque. Lo más importante es cuánto tiempo tengas a tu cliente feliz. Okay. De tal manera que si terminas un proyecto con 100 clientes, estás segura que eso se va a multiplicar. Porque eso, aquellos primeros que con los que terminaste lo van a mencionar a otros.
Se lo van a transmitir.
Así es. Y vas a seguir teniendo muchos más clientes. Eso es lo más importante. Y tú te aseguras así de esa manera que vas a tener los ingresos que estás buscando. Adicionalmente, los márgenes de utilidad también son importantes. Pero recalca que la manera en que tú satisfagas a tu cliente es el enfoque que ella le da. Y para eso se necesitan muchas más variables o recursos que solo los tres.
Que dependen de otros factores. Bien, ¿piensa usted que un nuevo emprendedor para lanzarse necesita crecer en una alianza o lo puede hacer solo?
Yeah. Do you think that to start your own business, it is necessary that an entrepreneur needs a partnership, or he or she can do it by themselves?
I get that question a lot. Again, it depends on the business. Ideally, the founder has a team. It doesn't mean you need a co-founder, but entrepreneurship is the hardest thing in the world. And there is no way one person can do everything by themselves. So ideally, you have either a partner or a co-founder, or you have great team members who maybe you pay, maybe they're interns, whatever, but having that 2 to 5 person team to start helps you understand how to manage the questions and look at things from different perspectives. Because if it's one person, it's very, very hard to execute on the 1,000 decisions every day that are going to come up. And it's extra work for no reason. And part of it also is, if you can't find people who believe in it enough to join your team, it's going to be really hard to find clients because you just can't do everything. It'll mean that you get one client and everything you do is to make that client happy. Whereas if you have a team, you can all kind of take turns in serving that client and figuring out, again, from many perspectives, what the next client and the next 5 clients and the next 10 clients will need.
Okay. Es muy difícil empezar a hacer las cosas por uno mismo, solo. Es recomendable que si tienes a alguien que quiera trabajar contigo, que eres la fundadora de tu negocio, sería excelente, porque si te dedicas a hacer lo que mencionábamos anteriormente, ¿no? Una persona no puede con todo. Claro. Y tu enfoque siempre va a ser el cliente y hacerlo feliz. Pero si emprendes, estás en el papel de emprendedor y al mismo tiempo estás en el papel de gerente, estás en el papel de productor, etc.
Tienes una sobrecarga.
Tienes una sobrecarga, lo haces todo, y ¿dónde quedó la felicidad de tu cliente? Entonces es específico que sería el enfoque en sí, hacer feliz al cliente, pero no así de esa manera en que el emprendedor hace todo. Si puedes conseguir a alguien o tienes alguna persona que de verdad crea en tu idea de negocio, está bien si tú la inicias con alguien más.
Y lo quiere
I
invitar.
have something to add. So a lot of times when somebody has a great idea and they look for a founder, they're like, who are my friends and my cousin and whatever. It's very important that if you're good at these things, you find somebody who is good at the other stuff. And the person who has the big idea should be annoyed by a co-founder sometimes, because the co-founder or the partner needs to be the detail person that writes everything down, and so usually entrepreneurs are like, oh, let's change the world, and they're thinking really big, and they're not always good at the little organizational details. So finding a partner who is sometimes driving you a little loco, right? Making you write everything, that's really important. So you find people with complementary skills who are different, because they're going to ask you questions that will be very annoying, but it'll make the business better.
Okay. Lo importante es trabajar en equipo. Si ya vas a trabajar con un cofundador o un socio, es importante que esta persona crea en ti, pero que no sea una persona demasiado aprensiva o ansiosa que esté escribiendo todo el tiempo o que te está haciendo tal vez preguntas a ti, que tienes la gran idea del negocio, que te está preguntando, te está presionando. No, lo necesario es que esta persona tenga competencias que se complementen con las tuyas para que puedas trabajar de una manera más efectiva.
Hacer fluir esa idea de negocio. Dentro de la conferencia nombró conceptos claves. Dentro de ellos está el coworking, los incubadores, la aceleración y la preaceleración.
Sí.
En Ecuador contamos con espacios útiles como el coworking y incubadores, pero ¿a qué se refiere específicamente con los aceleradores y los preaceleradores?
Okay. Susan, here I'm going to give you some data, okay? So in Ecuador, according to the TEA, which is a study based on entrepreneurship, people who are between 50 and 64 years, the senior ones, are the ones who start a business, according to that study.
Yeah.
And it represents the 29%, okay, of the total of Ecuadorians. So what do you think is the best idea to start, or what do you think is your tip in order to start to this segment of people?
Awesome question. So the funny thing is, all over the world, everybody thinks that tech entrepreneurs are these 25-year-old tech people.
Mm-hmm.
But the research shows us everywhere in the world that the average age for successful entrepreneurs to start the business is 40. And then for high growth companies, it's 45 years old. It's not young people. You need experience. And most importantly, you need to see problems in the market, which comes from working. And then you need to figure out how to make it monetized. And so it's being a little older is great. Now, for young people, having them be able to work in startups or in growth companies run by older people gives them unbelievably wonderful training, so that if they do want to start their own businesses later, they can, or they may see, wow, I definitely don't want to be an entrepreneur, which is a good thing to know. If I wanted to reach out to 50-year-olds, which I'm very close to being 50, go 50-year-olds. I think that the goal needs to be helping them understand why they should be in a program, as opposed to they're business people. Like, they know the world. Why am I going to stop what I'm doing to be in somebody else's program? So it's really saying, here's the value of what you're going to get from this program, and having it really clearly laid out so that they know this will actually help me build my idea, build a good company, and have success. Because they're not looking for training. They're looking for real impact for their families and their lives. Some of them leave very good jobs in multinational corporations to go start their own business. So time is the most valuable asset. That's the resource they have right now. So if I was going to do outreach to 50 and 60-year-olds to start businesses, it would be, here's the value of what we're making. Here's why doing our program is going to be much more beneficial for you to have a successful business than doing it on your own. It's that simple.
Okay. Es muy simple la respuesta. No, puedes tener emprendedores, o pueden existir emprendedores que están en los 20 o en los 30. Y por el otro lado tenemos gente adulta que inclusive renuncia a sus trabajos o se sale de sus trabajos. No estamos hablando aquí sino a nivel mundial, que es la tendencia. Y esa es la gente que inicia un emprendimiento a esa edad y les va muy bien. En nuestro país, como yo se lo mencionaba al principio, hay gente que a esa edad ya no consigue un trabajo pues, e inicia su emprendimiento. ¿Cuál es la ventaja de este segmento? Es la experiencia. Porque contrario a los nuevos emprendedores que son mucho más jóvenes, pueden tener un excelente entrenamiento, pero les hace falta un poco de experiencia. Entonces para ellos no es tan importante que al iniciar un negocio tú quieras causar un impacto tremendo en tus vidas, en tus fondos, monetizando tus ideas, como sí lo causa a las personas de una edad mayor.
Perfecto. Bueno, muchísimas gracias, Susan, por participar en la UIDE, en la Ciim Uide 2019.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Latina Milacunas. Gracias.
Gracias. Ya.